Welcome, Bishop Fleming, as we continue this journey and this discussion about Lent and the different practices that we as Catholics have during this time. Thank you again for taking time to sit down with us and just to visit a little bit about this season.
It's good to be here.
We are deep into it now, and things are getting old, if you will. It's hard to remember what we set our mind on 4 weeks ago at Ash Wednesday.
Right.
What kind of suggestions do you have to help the faithful continue this journey that we're still on for another week, and it actually intensifies next week into an even deeper way of the walk towards the cross?
One is just to remember what your thoughts were. What were you going to do? What were your intentions? Maybe even write them down again. Maybe you didn't write them down the first time, but write them down. Sometimes it's just good to go back and see what was I going to focus on? And probably also just to remember that we all sometimes drop the ball and make a mistake. But the thing to do is pick the ball back up and keep going. It's easy once we drop the ball to say, oh, I've done it, I'm done. But God doesn't want us to do that. It says, pick that ball up again and start again, start anew.
Should I feel terrible about myself if I forgot a Friday in Lent and had a Big Mac or really struggled with whatever that my high ideals were on Ash Wednesday, and I just fell from grace, it feels like?
Sure. Do your best. I think that's God. All that God asks of us is to try to do our best. Remember in seminary once, when I should have been very focused, classmate and I went out to dinner Friday night, both ordered steak. So what do? You just say, well, I'm going to move on from that mistake and I'll try something to take that place for that time, but I'll try again and keep going.
Now, here's an interesting question that I get quite frequently. If I forgot, and in that situation that you just gave, that example, have I sinned?
If we forgot, you're not intentional. You need to be intentional when you sin.
Excellent.
So no.
Wonderful. Yeah. Is it okay to retool halfway through or even towards the end of the journey here if suddenly I realize, that's truly just becoming an annoyance and it's not drawing me towards God? I'm just annoyed by having to do that, but I'm going to keep doing it because that's what I set out to do. Yeah. Is it okay to take a pause for a second and say, I might need to focus somewhere else?
I think it's a great idea. If we know that it's really not helping us get closer to God, get closer to Christ, help deepen our relationship with Jesus, look for something else. And maybe even if your penance is affecting someone else negatively, you may want to think about a new one too.
Thank you, Bishop Fleming, for taking time again today to visit and just continue to have a blessed Lent.
Yeah, you too. It's good to be here as we dive into this Lenten journey.